Thomas Mann, a very famous writer, had written many novels, but today the one which I'm going to discuss with you is the name of which is The Magic Mountain. This novel is published in 1924. It is a fiction, The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. So Thomas Mann, The Magic Mountain was conceived in 1910s, which is when the bulk of the novel takes place. However, it was not completed until 1924 after the cataclysmic event of the First World War. Mann was born in 1875, just 4 years after the creation of the modern state of Germany and the failed revolutionary commune of France. During World War II, he was exiled from Germany, where Nazis burned copies of the Magic Mountain. He relocated to the United States and became a US citizen in 1944. World War I was the culmination of many upheavals of the global order that took place within Mann's lifetime. The telegraph and the railway were giving way to the motor car and radio. Rapid technological changes were shrinking to the world. Advancement in medicine and the relentless exploitation and colonization of the global working class created to the substantial changes to the health and prosperity of the European and American bourgeoisie. A modernist builder Grossman or coming of age novel, The Magic Mountain, take place throughout the decade leading up to the World War I and explore those global technological and ideological shifts through its main protagonist, Hans Kastrup. The novel was Mann's first to reach wide international acclaim and helped secure him a Nobel Prize. So the Magic Mountains, the story of the Magic Mountain start like Hans Kastrup, a protagonist, a hero of this novel, takes a break from his engineering studies in Hamburg to visit his cousin, an officer in training named Joachim Zimsin, who was tuberculosis. Joachim has been staying in the International Sanatorium Berghof, which is in the Swiss Alps near the town of Davos, in the location so far above sea level that the air is thin and bird song is rare. Here, Hans' stay is meant to last 3 weeks. Joachim warned his cousin that the time at the sanatorium does not conform to anyone's expectation. By way of introduction, the novel's narrator takes special care to describe Hans Kastrup as nothing more or less than a representative of a German middle class, neither a genius nor an idiot. During this 3-week stay, Hans experienced a near eternity in the mountain sanatorium as he acclimatized himself to the unique outlook, routine, and the language of its doctors and patients. These residents hail from every corner of the globe. Their only similarity is that they are ill and that each can pay their weekly bill at the sanatorium indefinitely. Hans begins a series of discussion with a resident named Ludovico Settembrini, a self-described humanist and a free thinker from Italy, who extols the virtues of Western civilization and deplores the decadence and that defines life at the sanatorium. Hans also admires another resident from a distance, a Russian woman named Claudia Chauchat. Hans comes down with an undefined illness himself, and he joins the residents of the sanatorium. Over the months and then years, Hans takes up a series of esoteric inquiries. He drops engineering and takes up human anatomy. His talks with Settembrini regarding the takes up human anatomy. He talks nature of reason and art intensify. He comes to know Claudia Chuchat well enough to vaguely understand that she is a self-described libertine who finds Hans' bourgeois sense of conformity and propriety at the ridiculous and amusing. As time passes, Hans is exposed to different points of view that compete for his attention. Settembrini, intellectual opposite Liu Napta, regale Hans with a philosophy of dialectical struggle and religious violence. Jucham succumbs to his illness and dies. The libertine minor Peppercorn arrives representing a forceful personality and a material and erotic excess which is at once the pinnacle of the bourgeois imagination and its unrestrained in verse. He later commits suicide after a group visit to a nearby waterfall. Throughout, Settembrini attempts to reclaim Hans' intellectual attention with the aim of making a break between Hans and the culture of the sanatorium in getting Hans back to the flat land where he belongs. Napta and Settembrini engage in a pistol duel, during which Napta too commits suicide. Hans stayed at the sanatorium last 7 years. Afterwards, he returned to the flatland to participate in World War I, alienated from his surrounding and no wiser than he began. The narrator suggests that Hans dies in the war like so many of his generation. So this is the story of the Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann, and the themes of this is well known to you, that how a man was trapped himself in a sanatorium, the malleability of time. In the foreword, the narrator informs us that the magic mountain is not to be measured in days, nor the burden of age weighing upon it to be counted by orbits around the sun. In a word, it does not actually owes its pastime to time. The subject of time and its malleability is at the forefront of author and of Hans' mind. Time can go by very slowly, as on Hans' first time in sanatorium, which he took parts or can rush past in years. Time becomes precious to those with lust for and purpose in life, with each lost minute becoming a small tragedy, or it become a mercilessly annihilated in bulk by those who have become bored with their life. Such is the power of the perceiving mind that time bends to its will, just as it bends around gravitational pull. If the mind can passively perform these tricks with time, that might think King Novelist do, working at the best of his ability. This was an accidental question to writer before the rise of modernist literary aesthetic, when the novel is an indifferent vehicle of the beautiful feelings. So this is the theme of this novel, The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann, and the characters Hans Kastrup, the protagonist. The Magic Mountain is among many other things written within the genre constraint of the Bilden Grossman or coming of age novel. It details the growth and development of its central character from youth into adulthood. Yet in the foreword, the narrator uses the first person plural. So the sanatorium teams a cosmopolitan bunch hailing from every corner of the world. These characters are brilliant or dull, authoritative or meek, sad or happy, representative of this or that national culture. Yet it is important that all these myriad facets of humanity are seen through Hans Kastrup's limited perspective. Hans also represents the plurality of the particular generation with all its faults and attributes. A human being lives out not only his personal life as an individual, but also consciously or unconsciously he lives the lives of his epoch and contemporaries. The Magic Mountains turns the idea of Bildergersman on its head, taking on the. So this is the story of the Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann, and I hope you will enjoy this novel, The Magic Mountain. Thank you very much.